a snow-covered stadium in Orchard Park, New York. We're still digging out from a weekend blizzard and a delay of 27.5 hours to kick off. Yes, can you find your seat? It's an amazing scene here as Josh Allen and the Bills get set to host Mike Tomlin's Steelers next on CBS. It's wild card weekend, and it continues with a 7-2 matchup. The 7-seed Pittsburgh Steelers, winners of their last 3 to make it into the postseason, against the AFC East champion Buffalo Bills, the 2 seed. A Steeler win would send them to Baltimore next Sunday night. Meanwhile, if the Bills hold serve here, they would host last year's Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, here next Sunday night. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wilson, Jay Feely. It feels like 4 degrees right now. You've been down on the field, Tony, and these conditions, I mean, what's it going to be like for the players out there?
It's cold, I can tell you that, and the wind, even though it's minimal, it actually does affect it in these conditions. But this is why you drafted Josh Allen. He can knife it right through this wind, and he's played incredible in these conditions. These are 2 mentally tough teams in this environment. I expect it to be a great game today, Jim.
In the way Josh has played this year, led the league in total touchdowns with 44. What about him?
Well, I mean, he's been exceptional, but he's also like right there at the top in turnovers. I mean, they're 16-0 since 2020 if he doesn't turn the football over. That's the key today. If he doesn't have a turnover, the Bills will win this game. But he's Josh Allen. He's going to have chances for the Steelers, but I really believe he's the difference maker, Jim.
Well, Mason Rudolph's been a difference maker for sure. The last 3 games, he gets the start and leads them into the postseason. Your expectations for him today?
Well, he's been exceptional. He's been playing in 3 straight playoff games, and right now this is his chance. A young guy, you go win a game at Buffalo in the playoffs and no one expects it, that changes the trajectory of your future.
Well, let's go down to the sidelines real quick, and a warm welcome to you, Tracy.
Well, Jim, I'm anything but warm right now, but there are blue skies behind me, and this field looks absolutely perfect. But let me reiterate, there was no chance they could have played this game yesterday. About 3 feet of snow dumped here at Orchard Park till 4 a.m. today, making it extremely difficult for anyone to come in and be able to clear this stadium. Now, the field is clear, but the seats still have a ton of snow on it. So we're expecting some snowball fights today. How all of these conditions, how the weather, how the schedule changes affect these 2 teams remains to be seen.
Well, we're just minutes away. Thank you, Tracy. And these diehards, they've come out in full force as kickoff is next on CBS.
This will be a backbreaker for Buffalo fans. Hurts to the end zone, and the Eagles have won it in overtime.
And this is embarrassing.
We can't play football like that.
They're in must-win territory now.
Born to be wild.
Caught by Pickens for a Steelers touchdown.
Born to be wild.
Cook leaps into the end zone.
Born to
The
be
Pittsburgh
wild.
Steelers win in Seattle.
Born to be
The
wild.
playoff hopes remain alive for Buffalo.
Yeah, mama gonna make it happen. Yeah! Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space.
The Bills, for the 4th consecutive year, are AFC East champions.
Pittsburgh will clinch a playoff berth.
That's what I want to do today. Dominate.
Josh Allen, the beast, has been released.
1 game at a time to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. Right back at you, man. Let's go!
Welcome to Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend, presented by Verizon. Born to be wild. Ryan Marr putting that opening sequence together, teeing it up for the Steelers and the Bills. You heard Josh Allen there said, take it 1 game at a time. They've been doing that since going 6-6, starting with a win at Kansas City. They won 5 straight. It feels like 4 degrees right now as we send it down to Jay Feely, who knows that the kicking part of this today could be very important in these gusty conditions, Jay.
For sure, Jim. And you know that the cold and the wind is certainly going to have an impact. So the #1 priority for both special teams units is ball security. But the Steelers know to win this game, they have to win the special teams battle. Keep an eye on Miles Killebrew, all-pro, Pro Bowler, 4 blocks in his career on punt. He wants to have an impact. And Tony, they're going to be aggressive. Try to steal a possession, maybe a fake, big return, something to try to have a big impact on the outcome of this game.
I think you're dead right there, Jay. I think that the way the Steelers win this game, they got to possess the ball and they've got to steal a possession. Expect the unexpected if you're the Bills on every punt situation.
Well, the Bills defer here at the top. Pittsburgh was 10th in the conference before they went on that 3-game win streak, and Buffalo was 11th in the conference when it came out of its bye at the beginning of December and vaulted all the way to the 2 with its division winning performance at Miami last week. So here we go. Bass getting it started on a line drive boot. It's fielded at the 10-yard line. And Warren's going to take it to about the 30. And we'll bring out Mason Rudolph. These 3 starts, wins against Cincinnati, Seattle, and Baltimore last week, a game in which he completed 18 and 20 passes, 90%. That set the all-time record single-game performance, topping the Roethlisberger mark. Speaking of Ben had started the last 23 postseason games for the Steelers before this one, and now it's Mason Rudolph's turn. Toss to Harris, and Najee gets hit low and is stopped after a gain of 2. You watched Mason Rudolph during the warm-ups. What did you see?
Well, I'm really impressed with the archetype of his career. You know, you expect him to be a career backup, and, you know, he hadn't been very successful, and they put him in, and they're riding the hot hand right now. But to me, he has developed. It's an archetype like Geno Smith in Seattle. He is for real, Jim. He's led the NFL the last 3 weeks in multiple categories, and this will be the biggest test of his career today.
He's got a 2nd and 8. They've already brought in Warren for Harris. Gonna fake it and then give it to him on the screen. Look at them go. What a nice run and cut by Warren to get out near the 50-yard line.
This is exactly what you need to do if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go ahead and run this right here. It's a play-action fake to make you think we're going to throw it downfield, and it eases the quarterback. Just a simple screen play to start the game, and Warren, this is a 1-2 punch that's very formidable. And Najee Harris and Warren, this team is winning the game by getting the ball to their back and then taking the shots one-on-one with these receivers outside when they get the opportunity.
So they bring back in Harris after that 15-yard pass play, and they give it to him. And Najee has this time about 3. Let's talk about this Buffalo defense. Ed Oliver, his season, best of his career. He showed why they gave him the big contract extension in the offseason.
Well, he had his career high in sacks this season, 9.5, and boy, he leaps out on the tape when you watch it. Very aggressive, very quick off the ball, very disruptive, but I think the key is him and Jones. You see 92 right next to him. He came back the last couple of weeks. They have been dominant when those two are in there, and you have to have it in a game like this where it's going to be one in the trenches.
It's another 2nd and 8, and Rudolph from the pocket has the ball deflected at the line.
Now, this is not abnormal. This team has basically led the NFL in batted passes, and you see another one here.
Bernard got it this time.
Yep. They do a great job when they rush, Jim, of keeping their eyes on the quarterback. If you can't get by the O-lineman, you watch the quarterback's eyes and you put that hand up.
So Warren comes in for Harris. They send him wide to the right. He's going to motion back into the backfield. Pickens at the top. Dangerous deep threat. 3rd and 8. Rudolph goes down the way, and it's over the head of Freiermuth. So they pick up a 1st down, and that's it.
And they played man coverage, underneath coverage we call it, 2-man, where you have safety help over the top, so the out-breaking route was the right place to go with the ball. But these conditions, going the direction that the Steelers are going, it's going to make these throws look a little bit off, and that's why I talked about Josh Allen being able to separate.
Harvin to punt to Deontay Hardy. And what a role he played in that win last week that helped get them this home game and a division title for a 4th consecutive year. Here's the punt. A short one, and fielded with a fair catch at about the 20 by Hardy, who took it 96 yards for a touchdown against Miami last week, a Bills record. And we'll see Josh and company when we come back to Buffalo. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New Balance. We got now. State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Chipotle, for real. There's a 24-hour time lapse yesterday. Yeah, it was coming down. It was blowing too, close to 50. And now we're ready for the first snap of the game for the Buffalo offense. Coming out throwing. Pass caught for a gain of 5 to Shakir. These teams met here 15 months ago. So you look at Josh Allen, led the league in total touchdowns, second most giveaways. But in that game in October of 22, Josh threw for 424 yards, which was a Buffalo record for a quarterback in a game that ended in regulation.
Yeah, and they dropped 8 guys on defense. They didn't rush them. You saw a 5-man rush there. They will not do that again. I think the week 1 the year before, when they had simulated pressures, 4 or 5 guys max blitzing, but you got to disguise it and get them into obvious passing situations.
2nd and 5, it's Cook getting the call. And Cook, who has emerged this season as a big threat out of the backfield, has 4. Is going to set up 3rd and short. As you look at the Buffalo offense spearheaded by this guy right here.
And we keep talking about the difference maker. They're going no huddle here. But in the postseason, here's the tush push.
Goes over the top. He's going to get it. Pittsburgh disagrees.
This is huge. Every time they do this, they do go left. But I'll tell you this right now. That's a huge difference in where you spot this ball, because you can't go for it on your opening possession at the 29.5. But he gets there. He does always go left like I talked about, but the ball didn't look like it was in front of him. This is closer than...
Right there, he broke the plane.
He did. You're exactly right. But I think Josh Allen, this team runs everything through him. Now they're able to run the football. We talked early in the year, I was like, this is going to serve them well come January, and it has. Since week 10, the coordinator changed. They're rushing as well as anyone in the National Football League.
Here he is on 1st down, going down the middle. He's got Kincaid. The rookie hauls it in. Starting to get a little more action with Kincaid down the field in recent weeks, and they've got a gain of 20 on that one.
You're exactly right. Go ahead and run this right here. You're going to see Kincaid come all the way across the field right here. And that angle, you have a choice to flatten or to keep going deep. And you see Rowe playing underneath. Great job by Kincaid to take that high. He's a difference maker, Jim. And you're right, they are throwing the ball down the field to him more late in the year.
Out of the gun. They dump it off to Diggs, get him going. Diggs bounces off of Knox, runs into his tight end's back, and still forges ahead for a 1st down and a gain of 10. This Pittsburgh defense again without TJ Watt, that grade 2 MCL sprain. But they do have back not only, of course, Cam Hayward, who keeps doing what he's doing, but they got Mika Fitzpatrick back this week.
Yeah, but Hayward is going to be the key. Him and Benton, their 2nd-round pick. These guys, very similar to Buffalo, have to be stout on the inside and runs like this.
There's Cook.
And him not being in the game, what do you do, Jim? You run the ball when he's standing on the sideline.
Look at the push by Spencer Brown and others. McGovern that helped pick up a couple of extra yards. There's TJ is on the sideline.
Not possible to replace his production. I mean, they have some good, edge rushers who are behind him, but he's the definition of a game wrecker. They are 1 in 10 since he's been drafted when he doesn't play. And that's what makes it difficult for them today.
And they missed the game here last year, I alluded to earlier, when Buffalo won 38-3, handing Tomlin the largest loss by margin of his career at Pittsburgh. Here's the pass again to Diggs. He slices through 2 defenders and gets down to about the 23. Gain of 12.
This is the simulated pressures right off the right side. It's only a 4-man rush, but Josh Allen is prepared for it. And he is ready. Just when they blitz you from a certain spot, Jim, in the secondary, you just throw it to that spot because someone left it. And if he's able to get the ball out that quick and see the defense and not be confused early in this game, watch out.
First down. Back to Cook. Big opening for Cook. And he's able to make it all the way down to about the 12-yard line. Running behind Mitch Morris, their center.
Very smart. Look at, you got 95 right here and 94. That means 97's not in the game. I promise you they have someone upstairs saying Hayward is on the sideline. And when he sits on the sideline, Jim, expect the Bills to run the football.
Yeah, he continues to stay on the sideline. That's 4 plays that have gone for 10+. And Allen is 4 for 4 on this opening drive. He's going to give it back to Cook.
Right now, if I'm Pittsburgh, it's an adjustment game. Everybody, both sides, right? You have this time, you plan for it all season. You're going to be aggressive, and you're going to sit here and give your team the best chance of success with a game plan. But right now, you got to adjust as Hayward comes back in and say, hey, he's out. We need to call run blitzes, certain things, because when he's out, they're going to run the football. When he's in, expect pass.
It's a Pittsburgh defense that has not surrendered a single point over the last 4 games. 10th play for the Bills, just inside the 10. To the end zone, it's caught! It's Knox! Dawson Knox with a touchdown catch.
What an opening drive by this Bills offense, and this is miscommunication on the outside by the secondary for the Steelers. Watch the corner and the safety up top. Neither one of them takes Knox going on the outside, and it's a pressure. But they have to have one guy take the tight end. You can't let him just split it that easy. Wow, what a drive, Jim.
And Knox has his 6th career postseason touchdown, and Bass able to boot it through with the extra point. Dawson Knox back from wrist surgery. He and Josh Allen, they've connected. They're great friends. And they've got a touchdown on their opening drive. We welcome you back to Highmark Stadium. Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Goodyear. A Bills victory today would mean they would host the Kansas City Chiefs in the 4th and final divisional game next Sunday night with a 6:30 kick. Here we go. Bass, line drive on the first one. This one delivered to the back of the end zone. One of the world's most iconic performers lights up Vegas. Watch Usher on the Apple Music Super Bowl 58 halftime show, February 11th on CBS. Down a quick 7. The Steelers had only given up 2 touchdown passes over the last 5 games, and that was including a stretch with the likes of Tua, Mahomes, Dak. They've given up one to Allen early. Now the offense needs to respond. Straight ahead they go, and Harris again is plugged after another gain of 2, maybe 3 this time. By the timeline for Mason Rudolph, came out of the draft in 2018 as a 3rd rounder out of Oklahoma State. He played in some games early in his career, and then he's just gone silent. Did not even play last year. So this is his 4th consecutive start. As you said, his numbers during this stretch, 3-0. Passing numbers have been just spectacular. Go back to Harris. And they're surrendering nothing on the ground so far as they've got him again after a gain of about 2.
Now you're right, but this is what Pittsburgh, both these teams changed coordinators later in the season, and they kind of simplified in some ways. They started to run the ball downhill. Part of the reason why the Steelers have been successful is they started to move around. Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan, they moved around 14 and 18, Pickens and Johnson, but they're running the ball into the correct looks. They're not RPOing it as much, run pass options, but this is the key to the game. Can Mason Rudolph get these 3rd and manageables? If not, it's going to be a long day.
On 3rd and 5, they bring 5. Goes to the sideline, no one's there. Deontay Johnson in the area.
This is Sean McDermott at his best. He fooled Mason Rudolph. I want you to watch right here. There's no one covering the receiver on the outside, but you've got right here, he's going to pop out. And as soon as Micah Hyde pops out, he hangs there thinking he's going to have an easy hitch route. Show him that he's wide open, and then pop out underneath playing 2-man.
Harvin's second punt. First one traveled 31 yards. This one will settle at about the 27, 42-yard punt. Josh on that first drive, 5 for 5 and a touchdown pass. You're watching Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Progressive, the right call to protect your home and car. And by Taco Bell. Our amazing crew, our tech crew, what they've gone through over the course of the last 5 days and getting us all set for this game. The likes of Pete Calander, Sarah Hammond, Chrissy Florian, Katie McGuire. Yeah, we were, because of a travel ban, a lot of us weren't able to even leave our hotel for 3 days. It was like The Shining.
In your bathroom.
Here's Tony. All work and no play makes Tony a very dull boy. Here is Allen throwing down to the sideline, and it's incomplete.
It's a rare miss for Josh Allen. That was pretty good.
It was a great retreat weekend, though, and a lot of time with the whole crew. You saw this earlier this weekend about Josh.
This is incredible. Okay, he's the only one in NFL history, only quarterback. Look at that, Jim.
Yeah.
To average over 250 and 50. And guess what? They've been playing the playoffs recently. The last 2 weeks, they have ramped up him using his legs with a season-high 15 rushing attempts last week and 11 the week before, both season highs. Expect that to happen today in situational football, 3rd down and red zone.
Got a 2nd and 10 to come after him. Got away from Peterson and still able to get 8 yards out of it. That speaks to what you just told us.
You're exactly right. His legs, it's the difference. Go ahead and watch the pressure on the far right, this side, but boom, outside of them, we don't see that coming. Peterson, oh, nope. And this is why the Bills are so difficult to deal with. They have a guy who does things that very few people can do, and that should be a sack for 97% of quarterbacks in the NFL. That's a real stat, Jim.
Yeah, well, his durability is just incredible. This is his 97th consecutive start, regular and post. 3rd and 2, and that's incomplete. Going for Kincaid. As many times as he exposes himself to possible injury, how he's been able to stay on the field. It's amazing. This one didn't work out, though.
No, it's because you see Fitzpatrick right there. It's huge having him back. He's got great instincts. He drives inside. You see 39 for the Steelers. When he drives inside with those instincts to just go right downhill, that's where Josh Allen said, uh-oh, can't throw it in front. So he tries to throw it on the back shoulder, and that creates a punt.
Alvin Austin's the returner for Sam Martin's punt, which is angled toward the right sideline. He back catches it out of bounds. 46-yard punt. Got to have a good time with it. A blizzard in Buffalo. A game that's been delayed. Our fans have come out. Yeah, snowball fights, etc. Still coming your way. Back for the Steelers. 3rd series. They finished 3rd in the AFC North and got that last playoff spot, 7th seed. All 4 teams in their division finished above 500. Only the Bengals at 9-8 didn't make it. Here's a 1st and 10 And a completion to Pickens. The ball came out because he was on the way down. Question is, was he down? Now they're saying incomplete pass.
Wow, that's a huge moment there. Similar things happened in Seattle a couple of weeks ago. Your season's on the line. If this is a catch and a fumble, which it looked awfully close.
It sure looked like a catch for starters. All right, Gene Steratore, did you see that as a catch or not?
You know what, Jim? I have Pickens with two feet possession, and then I thought a football move, really, by jumping forward. To me, that tucking of the ball and then lunging forward would definitely constitute a football move or completion of the catch. I think it's a catch fumble.
Carl Shepard's coming over to Sean McDermott just to confirm that the red challenge flag is just part of the procedure.
Yeah, and I would throw that too for sure.
Buffalo's challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
Buffalo has 30 turnovers forced this year. Third in the NFL, and it might continue here, I think.
The receiver satisfied all the elements of a catch. It is a completion and a fumble recovered by Buffalo. Buffalo wins the challenge. They will not be charged with a timeout.
The ball was recovered by Bernard, who's had a nose for the football all season long. I was calling it snowball fights. Not really. They're tossing it in the air to celebrate the moment here.
Yeah, and watch, Jim. Here's why. You get hit right here, and he still maintains possession. As right there, you're like, okay, he's made his football move. He's going to try and go to the ground with his left arm. And by bracing himself, the ball slips and comes out. And to me, bang, bang, held onto the ball right after he gets hit, lunges forward, and while he puts that left arm down, that's another football move, lunging forward. That's a fumble. Great call.
Well, Chepper's language was almost identical to our Gene Steratore's. He checked all the boxes, the elements that were needed to confirm that he had made a football move and it was a catch. So here's Buffalo from the 29, right down the middle to go for it. They got it! With Kincaid this time, the recipient of the Josh Allen touchdown.
This is what separates Josh Allen. This place is erupting. We know a couple years ago he almost had a perfect game in the wild card in similar conditions, and today he's doing the same. I want you to watch Kincaid right here. Josh Allen looked left. The safeties are wide, and he's going to run right through it, and Josh throws a frozen rope. And that's literally a frozen
Yeah, I was going to say.
football. And wow, not everyone can make that throw, Jim.
Extra point. Good. So he's hit both tight ends now for touchdown throws in the first quarter. Knox and Kincaid back in 30 after this from State Farm. Two touchdowns in less than 3 minutes. And Buffalo off to a big start here in the first quarter.
And we knew coming into this game, the way to take advantage of this Pittsburgh defense. Oh, that's pretty good there, Jimmy. You look good in that picture. The way to take advantage, though, this Pittsburgh defense is inside. The linebackers, whether it's injury or just production, have really been exposed this year. And once again on that play.
His pass. Again, delivering a touchback. Boy, Rudolph and the Steelers, as you take a look at this, Miles Jack was on the coverage, Tony.
And that's the inside. Their linebackers inside this year have been exposed, I felt like, when you watch the tape. This Steelers defense, both teams try and keep the ball in front of them, not try and give up big plays. And Pittsburgh, even though they're in the playoffs, have given up way too many big plays and far too much in the middle field around these inside backers. They've got to get that shored up today, much less next season. But this is going to be a tall task for Mason Rudolph right here, Jim. Down 14-0 on the road, crowds into it.
He's got Jalen Warren at running back, and he gets the handoff. And Russo's there waiting for him. Maybe was able to get a yard out of it. Spector was also one of the first to hit him.
You see concerted effort by Sean McDermott in this defense. First down, they bring in a bunch of big guys. They did not want to get pushed around. Pittsburgh's been doing that to other teams, winning the line of scrimmage. Not today. And now you get into obvious passing situations. If I'm the Steelers, keep it simple here. You don't have to throw this ball. You can still run it, screen it, make the game simple.
2nd and 9. Knocked down by Ed Oliver. And they're just feeding off of one play after the next.
And they're lucky. This might have been intercepted. But flying in, Taron Johnson would have been real close. But Ed Oliver, we talked about it on the last series, Jim. This team was second in the NFL coming in batted passes. They do a great job. It's a coaching focal point. When someone blocks you, the rhythm of the quarterback, they get their eyes on them. That's why it happens over and over again.
Von Miller standing up in on this play, ready to rush the quarterback. There's Rudolph's throw, and it's incomplete. It was deflected, and this may be a pick.
I think it's intercepted, Jim.
It's Hyde crossing just in case. It was deflected by Bernard, and they're saying it hit the ground.
It did, but it looked like it was intercepted, Jim.
I saw you jumping up and down. You thought it was a pick at first glance.
It looked like he hit the player. Right there, Pickens, boom.
It hit the ground.
But these guys know, right? When all of a sudden they all stop, it's like they're right there. They should know. But I wanted to hear a good touchdown call on your part. That's huge for the Steelers, though, for that not to be intercepted.
Oh, they put pressure on Harvin, who's able to get it away. And it's a fair catch at the 44 as Dorian Williams almost got to Harvin to block it.
That was another batted pass at the line of scrimmage, Jim.
Just a 30-yard punt. Bills. Yeah. Trying to pile it on early. Considered the league's most prestigious honor, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes players who have excelled on the field and whose passion to impact lives extends beyond the game. For the Steelers, the nominee is Cam Hayward, who lends support to local communities through countless projects and events. And for the Bills, the nominee is Dion Dawkins, who provides resources and support to people in need through his Dion's Dreamers Foundation. The NFL Man of the Year will be announced at NFL Honors Thursday, February 8th, 9 p.m. Eastern on CBS and NFL Network. Back to Diggs. Diggs able to shake off 2 hits and get back to the line. Cam Hayward, one of those that was in on that. Let's take a look at Next Gen Stats powered by AWS.
Well, we mentioned it. Cam Hayward, when he's in the game, no one runs very well against him. But when he's not in the game, it's a really good job. Offense coordinator Joe Brady right away recognizing the difference. And you have a guy like I talked about upstairs. If he's not out there, you got to be like, he's out, he's out. There are certain players in the league that you can change a call play based on he's one of them.
2nd and 11, and that's incomplete. Hayward put a little pressure on Allen, and Kincaid slow to get up.
And that was all Hayward, making the ball come out early where Kincaid didn't get his head around just fast enough to get a beat on the ball coming at him, but it still should have been a catch. And boy, did they hit with Kincaid, though. I know that was a drop. But Jim, 73 receptions, all-time Bills record, rookie season. It's going to be a stalwart here for years to come.
They took him in the first round out of Utah. Here's the 3rd and 11. Cook. Nice piece of tackling. That was Minkah Fitzpatrick. And we saw Tomlin during the timeout really implore his defense to go out and make a stop. And that's what they did.
And this is coming all the way from the middle of the field. Fitzpatrick, I've seen 2 or 3 plays now where he's made a significant difference. And that time right there, he came from the middle of the field as a free safety and got down there. Those are those instincts.
Here's Martin's 2nd punt. First one went 47 yards. Fair catch signaled and secured at the 8-yard line by Austin.
I don't think you should have done that. I should have let that one go in the end zone or run it.
52-yard boot. Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon concludes tonight on ESPN and ABC. And then this weekend, the divisional playoffs presented by Intuit. TurboTax kicks off on ESPN, ABC, and Fox continues Sunday on NBC and right here on CBS. We'll begin our coverage next Sunday, by the way, at 6 Eastern with our studio crew that walks on water. What a dreadful start for the Pittsburgh offense.
Well, they did their first job. If you're a Steelers fan, you had to get a stop on that last possession. Now you got the ball back. Eat the clock and go down and do something here.
Fake to Harris from the goal line up top. Good throw. It's Freiermuth. And Pittsburgh has the ball came out at the end. And Spector may have been in bounds when he covered it up. He got an official right on top of it.
Wow, this is a huge call. I thought the play was over with already. I think the ball's, unless it's a fumble for sure and stays in bounds, but did Freiermuth
on the field is a fumble forward and out of bounds. The ball will be returned to the fumbling spot. First down.
Wow. So look at his it's out for sure. And where did it go out of bounds? There.
This is going to be, I believe, after they look at it.
Oh, this is close.
Because Freiermuth doesn't touch it once he's out of bounds. And there is Spector, who comes in and gobbles it up.
Gene? What are we thinking here? This is close. I thought he had it, unless his shoulder before he gets possession. Really, does he have possession before something touches the out-of-bounds line?
I'll tell you what I was looking at,
Buffalo's
Tony.
challenging the ruling on the field, but the ball was not recovered in bounds. We'll review the play.
Gene, did the ball happen maybe just touch Freiermuth's helmet as he was out of bounds?
You hit the nail on the head, Jim. That's exactly where I was looking. Interestingly, though, Carl Sheffers just announced that the ruling on the field was a fumble that was recovered out of bounds. So I don't know that they had ruled on the field that it was touching Freiermuth as much as Buffalo was out of bounds when they recovered. I think Buffalo clearly possesses this football in bounds. But it goes back to that, maybe that grazing of Freiermuth's helmet, Jim, that you mentioned right after the ball comes loose.
Well, the key then, if Freiermuth doesn't touch it, Jim and Gino, will be whether or not Spector has possession of the ball.
It sure looked like he did.
Before he touches the side. Right there. Nothing you'd say there. Now, right here, when does he have possession? Right there. That looked inbounds to me.
Yeah, I think the issue is going to, again, be just by fractions. Did the ball glance off the crown of the helmet of Freiermuth? I'll show you where. Right there.
Gene, I got a question for you for what Jim said.
Yes.
If you initially called it that it was out of bounds, but you didn't say it was because of Freiermuth, can you go back and change it if you can't see it?
No, I don't think so. I think Carl's just being rather descriptive. But look, the ruling on the field was it a forward fumble out of bounds. So regardless of how that fumble gets, out of bounds, or the ruling is out of bounds, that's the ruling on the field. Now we're into replay rules.
The ruling on the field stands as called. Buffalo will be charged with their first time out.
So it's going to be
also out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
So it's a 33-yard pickup.
Yeah, the out of challenge point, I think, is a huge point right now. We know that McDermott wins the first challenge, but you've got to win both. So now that he's lost one, we are now going to play over 3/4 of football without Buffalo challenging outside of 2 minutes, guys.
That was a huge call for the extra challenge flag as well.
There's the throw to Robinson. Allen Robinson picks up a good gain. So they back up the 33-yard pass play with another 10+. This go for 13.
Yeah, and this is a good job by Mason Rudolph going through the progression, looking deep, moving the defenders, and then checking it down. I think that's what you got to do, is be patient against this Buffalo defense. They've been outstanding the last month, playing as well against the pass as any team in the National Football League. Check it down underneath over and over.
It's Harris. Finally, he's got some running room, and he breaks it for about 9. Darnell Washington, who comes in a tight end for blocking purposes mainly, threw a good block on that one.
Najee Harris has really come on. Hadn't had a 100-yard game. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 games, he's been over 100, and they are running downhill. He's putting his foot in the ground and going, and you can see they've actually won in the trenches here recently, the last 3 games since Mason Rudolph. They've gotten under center a ton. A little more shotgun in this game to start, but I think they'll take this to the quarter.
That's the first time that Pittsburgh's moved across midfield. And we're through 1 quarter. By the way, we've seen a lot of postseason all-time first over the weekend. We've had one today. Buffalo becomes the first team with touchdown receptions by 2 different tight ends in the first quarter of a playoff game. Follow the road to Las Vegas and catch every round of the NFL playoffs on CBS through Super Bowl 58, all streaming live on Paramount Plus. Looks like Matt Ryan ready to make the ride with you. Matt's going to be in the studio with us coming up at halftime. All right, Rudolph and company, they completed these 2 throws at the end of the quarter. One of them surviving a challenge. There's Harris. Look at him shed that tackle and get all the way down to about the 26. You talked about his hard running. That was it.
Yeah, this is why I thought Pittsburgh had a chance. They are a physical football team. Both these teams are. But their ability to make the game simple, hand the ball off, go up the middle, bounce out obviously on this one, but to control the line of scrimmage, they can shorten the game in a hurry. And they're 9-2 in 1-score games, even when they're losing the yardage. But they do a great job with the ball. They don't turn it over much, and they create turnovers. But they've got to stay in this game, and this is the drive to do it.
On first down. Oh, what a tackle for the sack. It's Greg Rousseau. He had 5 in the regular season. One of his best plays of the year right there.
This is what makes this defense so formidable. They have 5 different guys with 5 or more sacks on the season, so you can't really just focus on one guy. Each guy pops up, and that's the most, or that's the second most in the NFL, Jim, to have that many guys getting sacks in Russo's turn here.
Boy, he just was able to maneuver right past Broderick Jones, the first-round pick out of Georgia. And it's a loss of 11. 2nd and 21. Draw. Warren. Pass Johnson. And he got about 12. For Hyde's able to chop him up.
This is a staple play here that keeps coming up on tape. It's the shotgun draw. And I see Warren have great patience and then hit the hole and find. I mean, he's going to find a hole somewhere, but they create big plays over and over again on this, 10, 15, 20 yards. But he's got the 2nd best yards per carry of any back in the NFL this season, only behind Christian McCaffrey, so you can see his talent in the 1-2 punch.
Third and 8. Russo almost got him again. Rudolph to Freiermuth. One move for the first down, and he just runs over the defender.
What a job.
Elam was just completely bulldozed.
Take a look here. He's looking off to the right. His vision's over here. He's going to end up getting back all the way to Freiermuth there, and right there to reset and have the ability to go back to the other side, the instincts.
Warren this time. Twisted down after a yard or 2.
Secretly, that'll come back. If Pittsburgh has a chance to win this game late, you could literally go back to that play that Rudolph did by getting out of the sack, and then Freiermuth putting his head down and getting it as saying, this is how they stayed in the game.
A drive that began at their 8-yard line has now advanced to the Buffalo 12. Second and 9. To the end zone. It's not there. Johnson's looking for a flag, and he got it. Deontay Johnson. He's jawing with Elam who was the victim of that
Pass
fire move
interference,
run.
number 24, defense. Ball to be placed in the spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
Yeah, Elam's definitely holding right there. That's a penalty for sure.
I mean, a tough series here for Elam, the first rounder a year ago. That's as obvious as it gets.
I mean, this is very difficult. These are some great receivers. Johnson missed 4 games this year, and Pickens. I mean, the biggest difference in the changing the offensive coordinator, they're moving these guys around. They're not just staples, and that's really allowed them to run different route tree routes and open this offense up.
On first and goal, they go up the middle. They faked like they were going to go around with Austin. Let's go to Trace.
Jim, you guys talked about Khair Elam being out there. We know Rasul Douglas has been out for this game. Christian Benford dealing with a knee injury right now, which is why he's not out there. He is in the locker room being further evaluated. He's questionable to return.
Yeah, they're going to miss Douglas. Out with that knee. Elam, as a result, getting a lot of action. There's Elam breaking up to the top to try to cover Deontay Johnson again. Second and goal. We're looking that way to Johnson. There's the pass. And it's picked off by Elam. Oh boy, does he make up for those other 2 plays.
And they tried to risk it with almost a comeback, thinking that Elam was going to be soft. And you talked about having a rough drive. Well, this more than makes up for it. You're trying to time this up down and away, and the ball's just left inside. And Elam adding to a team who creates a ton of turnovers, builds off to an incredible start.
Well, Commissioner Roger Goodell is here sitting alongside Curtis Martin, the Hall of Famer.
Ooh. I saw him before the game. I was like, you could still play. He said, you could too. I said, no, I can't.
He played a long time, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Handoff to Cook. And Josh has put a highlight reel together already in this game.
And boy, has he. I mean, he's getting through progressions really quick, but then the time they got the simulated pressure and got him, great instinct, slides in the pocket, and then doesn't force the football, Jim, uses his legs, we already told you, and then fires the seed right down the middle. It's why it's so hard to come in here and win, and the way he's been playing lately. He hasn't even given a chance for Pittsburgh to have an interception yet. And if he doesn't throw an interception, 16-0 since 2020.
Second and 8 to Cook, who's met right away. And that's Eric Rowe on the tackle.
Rowe has really come on to me. I mean, that's part of the reason why the resurgence. Fitzpatrick was out and you were hoping someone could come in and be solid. He's been better than that. He's playing multiple positions, and I thought he would be on Kincaid, him and Fitzpatrick a little bit today. He's going to have to come up big.
Well, he was signed just 7 weeks ago. As Mike Tomlin told us, I'm going to go with him. I go with the hot hand. Same rationale he used on Rudolph. Here's the 3rd and 5. First down. Picked up by Diggs. Right in front of Joey Porter Jr.
And this was just 2 high-level players. Joey Porter, who had some of the longest arms in 20 years coming out of the combine, has played really well coming on this year, but tall task when you're out there. What a move by Diggs, like to be able to stop on a dime like that and then possibly take a breath and kneel down.
There's Cook breaking free and then slammed down, but not until he picked up 9 yards with that one. It was Mark Robinson who tossed him to the ground.
Great job by Mitch Morse, the center, 60. Does a great job displacing. And here's when he went down the previous play. Grabs a little sip of Gatorade and says, all right, I was thirsty. Here you guys go.
2nd and 1. Cook changes direction at first down. Boy, Cook has been a boost for them, hasn't he? I mean, the second half of the season, the Bills, the last 9 weeks, were the NFL's #1 rushing team.
That's exactly why both these teams took off. I mean, since the last 9 weeks in November, they're 1-2 basically in the NFL, and that's the coaching change, it was just like, we got to be able to make the game simpler. It's not like the other quarters. They were both really good. It was just, that's what happens sometimes. But they've made a concerted effort to have the game also go through him and not just put the whole thing on Josh Allen's shoulders like years past. That's why I think they can win the Super Bowl.
On first down. Swings it over, pass wasn't there for Andy Isabella. By the way, the AFC playoff picture, as we take a look at it here, with that Houston hammering of Cleveland and Kansas City, able to knock out Miami last night. This is the last piece of the puzzle on the wild card weekend, so Baltimore are waiting to find out who it will host. Of course, the Texans anxious to find out, are they traveling to Baltimore or to Kansas City?
And boy, is Stroud for real.
Unbelievable.
I mean, tell you, he's outstanding.
Here's Cook. They got 4 Steelers waiting for him, maybe even more, including Miles Jack. That performance, you know, we've been watching Houston games together, even though we haven't seen him in person, and you just have so many superlatives to say about this rookie.
He's poised under pressure. What he did in Indianapolis on the final drive, I mean, he's making throws that only the top players in the league make under extreme pressure, and I mean that from the defense and from the end of the season. He's here to stay for a long time, and now you got another one in this AFC.
Cook limped to the sideline. We got a 3rd and 8. Josh steps up, and he's going to get the first down. Oh, there he goes. No one's going to get him. Incredible, breaks it for the touchdown. 52 yards.
Unbelievable. Josh Allen. We talked about him. No one in NFL history in the playoffs is dependent on really more than him and Mahomes, really. With their legs in big key moments. 15 rushes last week. He's ramped it up with his legs, and none bigger than this one right here. 52 yards, and he shows the extra burst. Unbelievable. He is the definition of a game wrecker on offense.
Extra point, pass, 21-0. It all began with the Elam interception, which denied the Steelers their first points. And it ends with the quarterback breaking it and going the distance in a full sprint. Second longest rush touchdown by a quarterback in playoff history. Only second to Colin Kaepernick. Took one 56 yards 11 years ago in a postseason game. 49ers against Green Bay. Longest run, by the way, too, of Josh Allen's career. I knew he was going to pick up the first right away. I did not expect a touchdown.
Watch this. When he gets hit, you thought he'd go down. Then he gets the top speed right afterward and runs away from the DBs. And look at the crowd here, Jim. Erupting in Buffalo.
You know, Big Ben, the great Ben Roethlisberger, and Joe Brady going crazy here. They've often compared Josh to Ben about how difficult he is to bring down, but he can run the football faster than anyone that you would think with that size.
Well, we know about Lamar and his ability, and he's another one, but that was separating like that a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, if Buffalo wins this game, think about who you have. With Joe Burrow being hurt, you might have the 4 quarterbacks who played the best this year, right? You get Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and C.J. Stroud.
In the AFC divisions.
Shows you how important a quarterback is. This is brand new news, everyone.
That is some
If you have a quarterback, you have a chance to win in the NFL.
Serious star power right there. Of course, on the NFC side, you're going to have Purdy. And of course, you got Goff coming on.
And Jordan Love, who's playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL.
I say, we saw him last week. He was just sensational. He backed it up with a brilliant performance last night against Dallas. That pass was intended for Washington, and nothing happening right now for the Steelers. They got 3rd down coming up.
This is a must right here. I know the game's getting away from you. You got to protect the football. You can't give them a short field. But remember, Pittsburgh started with the ball. Not the start you wanted, obviously. Turnover. Protect it, but you've got to extend this play, do something. I'd come after him if I was Buffalo. Try and end the game early.
Well, here they come. And Rudolph got completely manhandled by Oliver on the throw.
And this is what Ed Oliver's been doing all year. He gets the one-on-one matchup. Great job, and you'll see him right in the middle. Little swim move, and then makes Rudolph not be able to progress through the play because he would have had an open teammate in the left side of the field, and you couldn't ask for a better start if you're a Bills organization, could you, Jim?
All the way around. Harvin punting in the other direction, struggled. 34-yard average on 3 punts. This is going to bounce around and help that average at the 22-yard line. 51 yards for that one. You are watching Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon. Tony, you mentioned that the Steelers won 9 one-score games. That's the most in the league. But they lost 4 games by 10 plus, and they're down by 21. That's where the ball begins, right here, this drive at the 21 to Cook. And he's able to get to about the 25. And we've got an injured player. That is Roberts. He's on the sideline now. He wants to stay in the game. Let's go back down to Tracy.
Well, Jim, I'll get you an update on Roberts as soon as I get one, but Balen Spector, who's in because Tyrell Dodson is out for the game. He's dealing with a back injury, and he is questionable right now.
Spector, who almost came up with that fumble recovery that was not a victory on the challenge front. That's about the only thing that Bills have not won so far. They go to Cook, gets around Highsmith, and he's near the first. They said he stepped out first, 2 yards short of it.
Yeah, and you talked about the emergence of Cook and how incredible he's been this year in the run game and the pass game. A few drops here lately, but otherwise, this should have been a loss. And right there, he ends up getting almost 10 more yards after that. And that's why having a guy like him, it's amazing how difference makers when you can all of a sudden get out of a tackle and extend, allows your team just to be in phase.
Ty Johnson comes into the backfield now. On 3rd and 2. There's Johnson. Ah, what a nice second effort. Bounced off a pile and darted ahead to move the chains.
You watch the motion. They have an RPO up, which means you can run, pass, option. The quarterback decides based on the front and the look. You can hand it off or throw it for a quick screen over there.
And now Cook comes back in. You remember what Josh told us the other day in person. Ty Johnson loves him as a player because he's always going to finish every play, and he did right there to keep the possession alive.
Exactly right. And this doesn't continue without Cook finishing on the play before.
Pass complete. It's Hardy, who returned the punt last week, and now he's got a ball all the way down to the 32-yard line.
Just too much space on the outside. Patrick Peterson, who's had an incredible career, but look at the space he gives up, and Hardy's got juice. You got to respect the deep route, and right there, the footing on the ground. For a team who's been out here all the time and understands how to use it, getting in and out of the break, and Peterson should have just taken his shot right there, and instead, Hardy uses the juice and gets a huge play for Buffalo.
33 yards for Hardy. First down. Cook. Gain of about 3. All right, we got the Verizon halftime report. Straight ahead with JB and all the crew. We'll have their first half analysis. And all that's coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
Well, you're trying to take this clock down. Score whenever you can, obviously, but at this point, I'd still run the football, especially since Hayward's on the sideline.
2nd and 7. Pass over the head of Johnson.
These are the little things, right? That we want Josh Allen to have control of the game. We always do. We're a good running team. Hayward's on the sideline. To me, that was a run. Take it to the 2-minute warning. Because now all of a sudden you don't get this. Pittsburgh has a real shot of getting back in the game.
Third and 7. Down the middle. Almost intercepted. That was Eric Rowe.
We talked about it. He's been playing outstanding. What a play there. Hey, you know what? Jay Feely, our specialist. Can they kick this field goal, Jay, from this distance? Where can they take it out to, go in this direction?
You know, I thought going back to 50 was right on the verge. Both kickers kind of struggled going this way in warm-ups because the wind was blowing a little left. But there's not a lot of wind right now. Obviously, you got the cold weather, so the ball doesn't go as far. But this is right on that verge, Tony.
All right, 49 yards. Bass knows all about the swirling winds here. Oh, boy, that is blocked. Pittsburgh makes a play. And Sam Martin, the punter and holder, looks like he was injured on that. That's the 4th block, Jay, by the Steelers this year, as you see Martin holding his hamstring.
Jay, you said it. They had to have it, you said,
right.
before the game.
Had to have a big play. It's right on that verge. It's like, hey, do we need this 3 points? Everything's going our way. Do we just punt it down there and pin them deep? They get the big block, and I think even bigger, Sam Martin may be pulling his hamstring, and you don't have your punter the rest of this game.
Wow.
That's Herbig with the recovery. Boy, are they high on him, the 4th-round player from Wisconsin. And there's where the punter pulls up.
And that is big in a game like this. And right now, that was the opportunity Pittsburgh needed. Now, granted, it is halftime, so we're going in. There is time on the clock, I promise you. Just have a little malfunction here. But talking about them needing a big special teams play, Jim, why that was possible is because Jay told us that's right at that mark. So as a kicker, you've got to drive that ball low to try and get it there. And it was far too low.
Adams was the one who blocked it. Here's the handoff to Warren. And Warren gets 10 yards out of it.
Wow, Pittsburgh needed something like this to get them back in the game. You had them. That's 2nd down and 7. They should have ran the ball and taken it to 2-minute. Now you've given them life.
2-minute warning. Watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 58. Can Pittsburgh produce something before the intermission? Down 21-0. They got a first down at the Bills' 23. Now Rudolph dumps it down in the middle of the field, and that's Pickens. Tossed down on the tackle by A.J. Klein.
They've got all 3 timeouts. Got a ton of time. Buffalo might have taken one. Now Pittsburgh did. Now Buffalo did. That's exactly right. If I'm Sean McDermott, most people would be like, we're up 21-0. Good call there.
Again, another reminder, the Verizon halftime report is coming up. There's all the crew. Phil ready to go. JP ready to lead. Coach Cowher watching the Steelers. Nate and Boomer. Their first half analysis and all the latest news around the league coming up on the Verizon halftime report. I had Matt Ryan with him yesterday in the studio on a special edition. bonus edition of the NFL today as this game got delayed.
Changing the play, quarterback telling them actually it's okay. We got what we wanted here, so they like it.
2nd and 4. He's got the completion and he tiptoes out. Does Pickens near the first down yardage.
I'm really impressed. He's an outstanding receiver. He's really come on. And the way they're using him now, Eddie Faulkner, Mike Sullivan, just giving him a lot more than just lining him up outside. He's inside a lot, running stuff from inside, outside, across the field. But him and Johnson are the two guys you got to watch for here. 18 and 14 is who they want to get the ball to in the red zone. Those are the most targeted players.
On first down, they're going ground. And it's Warren to the 10. A timeout called by the Bills.
That was really smart right there. Make Buffalo use their last timeout. Don't allow them to have another chance to score.
We're back in 30 after this from Progressive Insurance. Tomlin and McDermott. They crossed over for a couple of years in college at William & Mary. Teammates. Here's a 2nd and 7. And it's caught for the touchdown. It's Deontay Johnson.
And that's who we talked about. You got it. He's the guy that gets a lot of the one-on-one matchups down here when teams are worried about Pickens. Watch up top. You're going to see all of this get flushed out inside and create space one-on-one, and he just crosses the face. What a great route of Jackson right there. I mean, that's his 4th touchdown in the red zone this year and the most targeted, and it continues.
And last year he caught a lot more passes but didn't score a touchdown. That's his 6th touchdown of the year. For Deontay Johnson, extra point is good. So they're able to make something out of the blocked field goal.
Now you've got life if you're a Steeler fan. It was looking real bleak when they were driving down.
Well, the NFL was proud to be supporting an initiative called Realizing the Dream, a movement that rallied communities to perform 100 million hours of service leading up to the 100th anniversary of Martin Luther King's birthday, which is today. And we can all contribute to MLK's legacy through acts of volunteerism and social change. To learn more, visit realizethedream.org.
What a day. Martin Luther King Jr. deserves to have a day named after him.
Most of Pittsburgh fans made the drive up here, 3 hours away. Jackson, who got beat on that play, is a Pittsburgh kid. Went to Pitt, went to Quaker Valley. We give Mason Rudolph and that offense credit. They're able to finish off that drive. Just needed 33 yards after the recovery by Herbig off the block punt, a block field goal. So, you know, there are all these analytics and probabilities stampeding to the players. That's what they did with their 5 straight wins. But at one time, entering week 14, was 5% chance. And we were with them at that time at Kansas City, Tony. They won that game, and then things just kept going up. They beat Dallas to 19%, 28%.
We knew how good they were. This team doesn't get blown out. They kept giving away games, so we knew they could get on a roll. They had a tough schedule to close. But I'm pretty sure we talked about seeing.
That's Diggs getting hammered right after the catch by Fitzpatrick. Ooh, Diggs looks like he's shaken up.
Now that's a huge. This is a huge injury if he doesn't pop up and come back, because that's the focal point for this defense, is having a plan for Diggs as you see multiple people around him constantly.
Well, some stick by Minka.
Yeah, I always hope maybe just the wind got knocked out of him. But you see the instincts. Minka come flying down from the free safety position again. Minka is a difference maker. We know TJ Watt is, we know Hayward is in the run game especially. He's the third guy. that really has the ability to change the outcome of games.
Of course, this is a team that's already without Gabe Davis today. Gabe inactive because of a knee injury, but Diggs able to bounce up and light run to the sideline on the heels of his 5th catch in this game.
This is a really interesting spot right now. If I'm Josh Allen, the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, I'm telling him, listen, nothing aggressive here. We're not trying to fit into any windows. We're trying to get out of bounds, but take what they give you. We have a lot of time, no timeouts, but we're playing with some pace here.
2nd and 5, and they've got a completion to Shakir for the 1st.
That's huge. Now, defenders will lay on you longer trying to make the clock eat. Now you can speed up. You're outside of that area where an interception gives them points. You're still not trying to throw something crazy, but you're going to try and get to the sideline. If they leave the middle of the field open, keep taking it.
From the pocket, Allen is taken down. That's Marcus Golden who got the sack. They needed production out of Golden without TJ Watt.
They really did, and this is a team who does not get sacked very much. One of the best in the National Football League, and Josh Allen was about to let it rip over the middle of the field, and he held the ball, tried to protect it.
Jay?
Tony, Pittsburgh should be calling timeout here. They have 3. Sam Martin can't punt. And so you should be aggressive right here after that sack to call timeout, knowing that they're going to have Tyler Bass come in here and punt.
Well, that's an outstanding point. Now they call timeout, Jay, with 2 seconds.
They just recognized, Jay, but here's the problem. At this point, they're not going to punt the ball. But it's a dicey situation, Jay. Great point. But the challenge is this. At 30 seconds, where you could have 35, 30 seconds, if you take that timeout and Josh Allen rips the ball for 25 yards like he has multiple times today, you're giving them points. To me, I probably wouldn't have taken a timeout there, but the punter aspect is going to come and play a ton in the second half, and this right here kind of showed them why, because I don't think they quite recognized at that point.
So why the timeout at 2 seconds?
Someone had to go to the bathroom.
That might be the best reason I can think of. It's just going to be a kneel down.
I think that's one of those where you wanted it at 6 seconds and it accidentally came to 2. You don't need to do that, Josh. Just don't.
That'll bring us to the half. Josh Allen throws for 2, runs for another from 52 yards away. 21-7, the Bills. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents the Verizon Halftime Report.
Well, folks, it might be cold outside, but Josh Allen and the Bills cooking with hot grease. The superstar is running, balling, flexing on the Steelers. He's got the Bills ahead by the score of 21-7 as we welcome you back to Studio 43 and the Verizon Halftime Report, the official 5G network of the NFL. I love it when Klaus says, JB, the camera's over there. Hey, folks, I'm JB, along with Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer.
Yeah, when you talk about the first half, it's really been about the tight ends of the Buffalo Bills. And they've been big and often. You see right here, Dawson Knox will catch his touchdown pass, and miscommunication on the coverage with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Dalton Kincaid is going to catch this down in cover 2, right down the middle. 2 touchdowns by 2 different tight ends in the same quarter is a playoff record. And how about that little move by Josh Allen? I'm going to slide. No, I'm not. Let me go 52 yards for this touchdown right here. Talked about Josh Allen in the pregame. This guy, I'll tell you, he's a 2-dimensional threat. The passing, the pinpoint passing, and his ability to run with the football. Again, there's 3 touchdowns. Remember, he had over 40 touchdowns this year for his 4th straight year.
Yeah, Bill, let's look at this Pittsburgh offense. Really bad at the beginning of the game. George Pickens fumbles the football. Ed Oliver jumps up, tips the short pass, which they were doing. Kaiir Elam gets the interception in the end zone and thought, wow, what a chance for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And then finally, the 10-yard touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson. Somehow, Pittsburgh stayed in this game in the first half.
Yeah.
Well, the Bills defense, I mean, has been playing great. I mean, they're the ones that are getting the turnovers. And I really thought there should have been a third turnover with Pat Freiermuth, and I still don't understand how that is not a turnover.
Yeah.
And a Buffalo fumble. I take a look at this, and I'm not really sure what they called. I don't think any of us really understand what they called, whether or not his helmet grazed the football.
While he was out of bounds?
Yeah, I have no idea. That should be the Bills football there. But here, I will say this. The Steelers are in this game, guys.
No doubt about it.
They are in this game. They are running the ball. One of the things we were talking about, Mason Rudolph going into this game, is that he did not turn the ball over via interception.
Yeah.
He throws the interception in the end zone of all places. So you can see they are moving the ball. They're able to run the ball. I don't know about their passing game, how explosive it really is, but it's the turnovers, obviously, that has killed them here in the first half.
Yeah, and scoring right before halftime gives them enough confidence going into the second half. I'll say this, when it comes to that Steelers defense, they're blitzing 60% of the time. And I know you have to mix it up if you want to slow down Josh Allen, and that's cool. But if you're going to blitz and bring pressure, you have to be lane disciplined, because any gap in there, he'll put on his cape and go from Clark Kent to Superman, and just like we saw, and go hero ball on that big run. And by the way, I have to say this. 31 other quarterbacks in the league would have slid after they got that first down. I mean, with the way that Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes has been protecting their body a little bit this season. Yeah. Josh, he plays in the danger. He doesn't care about it being a dangerous hit. He tells them, I am danger. So I just love the fact that he's aggressive. But Steelers, be careful how you blitz if you're not lane disciplined.
And you just got to make a look and see what happens in the second half. Remember, they lost their punter. I don't know if he's questionable. The punter's questionable returning with a hamstring injury. That's what we've been told.
Yeah,
but
Sam
if they
Martin.
can't punt, Sam Martin. So we'll see, because they get the ball the first part of the second half.
Right.
Could be a big factor in this game in terms of the decision-making for the Buffalo Bills.
I would say this about Josh Allen. When you're 6'5", 240, you're not worried about people hitting you. That's one thing.
No doubt.
Really going for him. But, you know, the other thing, too, he can shake off those tacklers. We saw it in Miami. We saw it this week. Pittsburgh's blitzing, because if they don't, that front four has no chance to get into Josh Allen.
Josh Allen at 6'5", 240 is exactly why Nate said, I'm danger.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, at the Verizon Halftime Report continues.
CBS Sports presents the Verizon Halftime Report. Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL.
It's caught. It's Knox. Down the middle, they go for it. They got it. And it's caught for the touchdown. No one's going to get him. Unbelievable. Welcome back to Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon. You got this one on here in Orchard Park. You got Philadelphia at Tampa tonight. Then it's on to the divisional round. But we're on to the second half with the Bills to receive this third quarter kick. What are you looking for as far as ways that Pittsburgh can work back into this game?
Well, I think the biggest thing Jay touched on a little bit, no punter. So obviously usually your kicker comes in and he becomes a punter, but that's going to lose a lot of field position battle, especially in these conditions. So, I mean, to me, it starts right now. You've got to insert yourself in the trenches. And you know, Josh Allen has been in rhythm all game. That's got to change. You got to come after him now.
Let's take a look at the wild first half plays presented by Pepsi Wild Cherry.
Well, he's been in rhythm all game, and then all of a sudden when he's not in rhythm, Jim, he's used his legs multiple times, and boy, has that been a positive. 4 rushes for 58 yards and continuing the streak.
Yeah, the touchdown pass to Knox, touchdown pass to Kincaid. And now let's get this third quarter started. As you take a look at what the quarterbacks did in that first half. Mason Rudolph got the touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson in the last 2 minutes.
And that was big. That gave him life, but can't allow Josh Allen to be comfortable or use his legs. He always ramps it up in the playoffs, as you should. Protect him in the regular season, use it in the playoffs.
Earlier, Tracy caught up with Sean McDermott.
With Sam Martin dealing with the hamstring, we saw him and Tyler Bass kicking out here. What will be the situation, and how does it affect things in terms of play calling?
Yeah, we got to see here what Sam can do, and we got to go from there.
In terms of the second half, though, if you don't have Sam Martin, how will it adjust the play calling?
Well, we'll just have to see. We got to be better situationally. Obviously, if we don't have at least our main punter.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sean doesn't want to give it up. Who would be the next guy in? If Martin can't go, here's the first down throw, and he's got an open target. Knox unable to hold on. Incomplete. Minka, who's had a whole career of always being around the football, just in case, but not this time.
That was surprising. The ball was perfect. Didn't have to really do anything out of the norm right here. He just was looking downfield and didn't get the ball tucked right away. And that's these conditions, though, Jim. It is, I know what it looks like at home. We can see the snow, but on the field it looks normal. It is cold. It's windier down there than you think. So that ball has the, that little movement on it that we've seen multiple times now disrupt the player.
On 2nd and 10. They got him for a second time in this game. Wrapping him up. This time is Highsmith. He had 7 sacks during the season, second most to Watt.
And you see, we talked about getting after Josh Allen. This is man-to-man coverage with a helper on the inside, Miles Jack right there, you see. But Highsmith, who's been outstanding, he's the one who really can give a little bit of the TJ Watt. He's created so many quick pressures this year, Jim, in the top 3 with Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. But now he's the focal point.
3rd and 17. I think if they have to punt, it's going to be Martin. I see him on the sideline ready to go as they toss it over to Latavius Murray, and they will have to punt. And Martin's coming out.
I never thought a punter would be Willis Reed-esque, but this is it right here.
I actually would have believed that he would be able to come back because he definitely pulled up.
Jay, is it difficult with a hamstring to punt?
Well, I watched him try and punt a few in the net, and it was really hard. I mean, obviously, he probably took something at halftime to help him, but he's worried about getting it off.
And can he fully extend?
Yes, he can.
Good punt all the way back to the 28. 45-yard punt and return out to about the 40 by Austin. But he's going to limp to the bench, but he did his job. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Goodyear here at Highmark Stadium, where in the local area they had up to 40 inches of snow over the course of the weekend. Wind gusts that were just out of control.
We were snowed in.
Yes, we were.
A lot of hot chocolate. And right now the Steelers have a chance. You would have never thought when it was 21-0, Bills going down to score to go up 28-0, that you'd have the ball down 14.
And they got an extra 5 coming up on Fryermuth.
False start, number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Tracy caught up with Mike Tomlin a moment ago.
Coach, you got the huge block down there, turned into points, momentum with that sack and that stop. What more do you need to see, though, in the second half?
We got to take care of the ball. The story of the game in the first half has been a turnover game. They took points off of our board with a turnover down there, and then they produced 7 points for themselves. We got to take care of the ball. We got to get a few of our own.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
1st and 15 now.
He's exactly right. You see it every playoff game.
Down the middle, and there's Johnson. And Deontay takes it all the way to the 45 of Buffalo.
This is a great throw, and it's a great job.
And Bernard, who was in on the tackle, is in pain on the field.
Go ahead and run right here. Great job in the play fake. He gets the secondary to come all the way down. Poyer runs down, and that's going to allow right behind him Johnson. That's the play they needed. Jumpstart this game for them.
Got the injury timeout. Bernard is holding his leg. Here's a look at the game highlights presented by Ford. Touchdown number 1 went to Dawson Knox.
Yep.
Number 2 went to Dalton Kincaid.
That was a record, first quarter.
Got 2 different tight ends on the same team scoring a touchdown in the postseason. And there's Johnson falling in the Steelers touchdown late in the first half. Not looking good here for the Bills that have unfortunately had so many different injuries this year.
Oh, no.
On defense, Matt Milano, Tre'Davious White, and now here's Bernard, who's had a really solid year.
Oh, he's been fantastic.
I'm going to show it to you one time as he's making the tackle, trying to bring down Deontay Johnson. You saw his.
Yep, you saw the right foot when it hit the ground
just
right
kind
there.
of buckled.
He's been outstanding. They drafted him, I remember, when Tremaine was here.
Yeah, just last year out of Baylor in the 3rd round, and they knew that
possibly
Edmonds was, you know, on a contract situation coming up a year later, the end of that year, his rookie year.
And they thought he could take over, and he's done an exceptional job. But like you said, being down Milano, Bernard, and Tracy talked earlier, Spector is questionable to come back and return. That's 3 linebackers that you had earlier in the year, and today 2 of them are down, and you hate to see that for any player, especially this time of year. I mean, but this is going to be a huge deal because he's the communication center, you know what I mean, the hub.
Yep, it's going to belong now to A.J. Klein as far as calling that defense, the veteran who Sean first hooked up with at Carolina. Been in this league a long time. 1st and 10. Pass. Almost intercepted for Elam. It would have been his 2nd. He was rightfully focused on trying to get both feet down.
Yeah, it was actually a good throw because you have to throw this on time, but slipping at the top by Pickens allowed the chance for Elam to get his 2nd interception of the game, and lucky that wasn't intercepted right there. But this is why the footing, right? As a head coach, we talk all the time, what do you got to do? What spikes you wear in the environment, home field advantage matters, Jim. You saw Diggs get out of those cuts really quickly.
2nd and 10. They've got a 1st down with the throw to Pickens.
What a throw.
Tackle by Hyde. All of a sudden, it looks like Rudolph's starting to get some rhythm going in this passing game.
And where does he work? The middle of the field. When you're down a bunch of linebackers, you can move guys out of position. And right here, he stood in and took a shot in the pocket and delivered a perfect throw to Pickens. And that's what you got to do to win big games, and especially this one.
That was a 12-yard pickup. Flags first.
It'll be a false start.
False start, number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
The false start that began the drive for Pittsburgh was their 1st penalty of the game, and now they have a 2nd.
And that's on Darnell Washington, their 3rd-round pick, who's really come in and found his role. He's a run-blocking guy, and he was going to be huge in this game, I felt like, because he has to block the defensive ends in the run game and some of the pass protection.
Fire move. Signaling back to his quarterback, and he does, in fact, get the football. And Muth takes it to about the 29-yard line with Dorian Williams, one of those who had hold of him. Gain of 10.
Yeah, 3rd-round pick, Dorian Williams, doing good. But watch right here. He's going to look at the quarterback's eyes. You're just going to get a little stick route here. But it looks to me like Mason Rudolph is getting into that rhythm we hadn't seen for most of the game. When you start to understand what the defense is trying to do, you're down linebackers, which kind of sometimes makes your defensive play calling shrink, right? So you get to know it better as a quarterback.
Since the block field goal, Pittsburgh 74 yards of offense, Buffalo 6. There's one. Look at him back up into a 1st down pickup. That was impressive.
Yes, I'm telling you, when you put the tape on, we know how good Harris has been playing, but I didn't realize they had this 1-2 punch. We hadn't seen him this year or done a game, but he consistently hits the hole. Quick, aggressive, has those instincts. This is an outstanding unit.
Hyde was hobbling a little bit at the end of that play.
We're good. These 2 safeties, for people who don't know, as good a tandem in the National Football League. They're exceptional.
1st and 10. Harris trying to cut it outside, but that's not there. Picks up 1. as Klein makes the tackle. You were just talking about those two safeties, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Boy, do they work well together. Best tandem, you'd have to think, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there with anybody. And, I mean, we met with them this week, and they were in there together, and they just are two brothers, I feel like. They are interchangeable, and that's rare. One guy can go back and play the deep side, the other can't, and he's going to back up here. He'll be there on this one.
2nd and 9. And this time, again, they're shutting down the run. That was Shaq Lawson, along with Elam, who came up on Harris. But back to those two safeties. They played together here for 7 years. They showed up the same day by way of free agency. Poyer from Cleveland, Hyde from Green Bay. They said, which number you want? I'll take the other one. And they just kind of clicked. They've had this friendship. Look, you see them communicating right here on this critical 3rd down.
They disguise. They do a great job of just having a head movement. And right now, you're going to ask a lot of them. Because you go in motion, someone goes with you, you know it's man-to-man.
Rudolph from the 30, stepped back, and he has his pass knocked away by Hyde, as well as Dane Jackson. Intended for Pickens.
This is what makes the Bills very difficult. I want you to watch. He's defending him, and he's defending the tight end. Watch how physical they are. No one's open because the contact at the moment coming off the line. The Bills do an exceptional job of rerouting and disrupting your timing.
So they go field goal attempt. 40 yards for Boswell, and Boswell has never missed in his postseason career.
You waited till after he kicked before you said that, didn't you?
The right thing to do. 17 for 17. You're watching Super Bowl. Super Wild Card Weekend presented by Verizon. Last 10 points of this game. On to the Steelers. Isabella is back to return the punt. The kickoff, I should say. Isabella, who's been up and down this season on the active roster. Former 2nd-round pick in this league out of UMass. He's not going to handle it. By the way, February 11th on CBS, one of the world's most iconic performers lights up Vegas. And I'm not talking just Tony, I'm talking Usher on the Apple Music Super Bowl 58 halftime show. February 11th on CBS. Can't wait.
Yeah, my footwork's just like Usher's.
Yeah, and your voice is too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, he's incredible.
So we look out here on the field. Stephon Diggs was shaken up at the end of the first half. He's at the top as they go to the ground with Cook. Cook's got an opening. Got a block over there by Diggs for a while anyway.
That is as big a run as any in this football game, because right now there's a little nervous energy as far as the offensive unit coming out, and you don't want to have to sit here and say, all right, Josh, just go save us. They have another guy now. His name is Cook, and boy, was that a great job finding the hole.
Diggs trying to shield off Porter for a while. Then he comes over and tries to take on Minka. But at the start of that, it was Mitch Morse who threw the big block on the rookie Benton that helped spring it for 11. Back to Cook. Again, running right behind the center.
Yeah, Mitch Morse been outstanding for a long time.
Take a look at Next Gen Stats powered by AWS.
Well, we've seen them work these tight ends, and what they've done, they made a concerted effort. If you're going to get these safeties wide and play deep half parts of the field, we're going to throw the ball to these tight ends and people in slot tight formations. And you see right now, Jim, how they got these tightened down. Part by the receivers on the outside. You want to condense these formations.
Trying to run it, came to a quick stop. It looked like it'd be a big hole, but Robinson ended it. We're now hearing from Tracy that the Bills are reporting that Bernard is what we saw, an ankle injury, but he's being x-rayed in the locker room. Here's the 3rd and 1. And Josh, I don't think got it this time.
They always go left. We talked about that. Trying to get behind McGovern and Morris over there. And that's going to be 4th down. And now the Steelers.
Well, the Bills are going to go for it.
You have to, I feel like. But here's the hard part, Jim. There's a guy, number 97, Cameron Hayward. You want to go ahead and run it straight at him? You got to go through him. And he is one of the best that's ever done it in situations like this.
Gilliam right behind to offer the push. Oh, and it was Hayward who hit him first, but the second effort. Oh, for a moment, Hayward had the better end of it. But Josh Allen went for it a second time and delivered.
You said it. Hayward is not gonna not win.
You set it up, man.
I'm telling you. Watch Hayward's push right where he's going, and then the second push right there by fullback Gilliam. That's the difference. He was gonna fall down backwards. Wow, that was a huge play.
First down at the 46. Cook. All the Steelers around him. No gain.
We talked about quarterback sneaks. Watch how many times they go left, 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 left. But they are great at it, Jim. They're right up there. Second most sneak first downs in the league. Behind, obviously, Philadelphia, who invented the tush push that you like so much.
I love it when you say it.
Stop. I like it too much.
This is the first time they're going to go up top on this drive after 6 straight runs. And it ends in a first down with Kincaid hanging out at the marker and a yard beyond it. Gain of 10.
This was a great job. Watch. It's going to be a curl right here with a flat route. And you replace the defense and just a simple throw and catch. But that's a great play design by Joe Brady. But these condensed formations, what we showed you on the next gen earlier, throwing these balls to these tight ends, but really it's about whoever's in the position. Steelers do a great job getting out wide, getting underneath stuff, out by the numbers out here, but they leave stuff inside and right in these areas.
No Hayward on the field, so they go back to the running game. But the Steelers are waiting for him, including Armand Watts. We got another Bills player down. This is an offensive line that has started every game this year.
This is as healthy a unit as anybody in the National Football League. Played the most snaps together, and that's invaluable. You almost can't quantify how important that is through communication, the double teams.
It's Connor McGovern, their left guard. And we'll be right back. Now there's McGovern. He was able to walk to the sideline and stretch out with one of his teammates for a moment. He's got the helmet on. So that looks promising. David Edwards has replaced him at left guard. 2nd and 9.
Hey, go Mike 38, Luke 50, Luke 50.
Says Mike 38, which happens to be Michael Walker.
Yeah. That means center slide to 38 over here.
On 2nd and 9. Up top, almost picked. That ball bounced off the hands of Ty Johnson.
Wow, he had to throw the ball over the top of Hayward's hand, and you know that feeling where you're just going to check it down and the hand starts to come up and you got to go over the top, and that almost creates an interception. There's a bonus for Buffalo right there.
Yep, Buffalo has not turned the ball over in this game, though they did have a field goal attempt blocked that led to the Pittsburgh touchdown a few plays later. Murray's the running back on 3rd and 9. Looking for options as they run after him. He releases and gets it to Diggs.
Wow.
That was Joey Porter shaken up.
By far the most important play of the game. You're going to have to punt this ball if you don't get a first down. And well, you hope Joey Porter's okay. The young rookie who's played outstanding, 3rd round pick. Once he came on, But watch the extension. He was patient in the pocket, and at the end of this, fires the ball right to Diggs.
Throwing across his body with Herbig. Highsmith coming after him, and it was where it had to be. And you see Porter got hit from behind by McGovern, who re-entered after missing one play.
That would be a huge loss. He's playing as well as anyone in the secondary, especially at the corner position. He's going to be a great player. I talked about it. He has the third longest arms in like 20 years at the combine. Uses it well at the line of scrimmage. We're just hoping he's okay.
Porter being escorted to the sideline. Of course, his father played in 10 postseason games, won a Super Bowl ring with the Steelers, but he gets hit from behind by McGovern. His head, he just gets sandwiched between the receiver and the lineman.
Look at all the space in the middle of the field.
On first down, going for the end zone, and it's broken up at the last moment by Roberts as Kincaid was open for a moment.
This was an unbelievable throw, and almost equally as unbelievable by Roberts to make up this ground. He's inside leverage. He runs all the way out and times it perfectly to get his hand in there. And he had to make up a lot of ground defending the entire deep half of that field there. Wow. Possible game-saving play, I believe, right there by Roberts.
The Bills have had the football for 5 minutes and 47 seconds. James Pierre has come in for Porter, and this defense is able to respond on second down. A loss of 2 as Cook had nowhere to go after the exchange.
Ogunjobi, 99, breaks right through. And this is where the time of the game, you are in field goal range. It's really close to that 50-yard mark that Jay was talking about. This side, you might be able to go a little longer. No sacks here. You have a shot at a field goal. If you get 5 or 6 yards, you have an opportunity to possibly go for it. Coming after him right here.
He's get to the 19 for a first. Sidearms it. And Murray is only able to take it to the 27. It'd be about a 45-yard field goal attempt in this direction. What's the wind going to be like for Bass, Jay?
No, there's not much wind right now, certainly in his range. Just remember, the last time he went out, it was going the other way, but he got that field goal blocked, and that really got Pittsburgh back in the game.
Does that stick with you mentally, Jay? Do you adjust?
Yeah, it certainly can. He's got to block it out, not think about it, and just go through with his normal form, but it's in the back of your mind.
45 yards, Bass. This kick is hammered home. So the Bills increase the lead back to 14 again.
And they took the time off, like you said, Jim.
7 minutes and 18 seconds, but virtually half the third quarter on that drive. And by the way, the NFL Pro Bowl games presented by Verizon heading to Orlando. The AFC and NFC face off in the Skills Showdown on Thursday, February 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And then the action continues with flag football and more skills on Sunday, February 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ABC.
You know, I can still play.
Well, you could definitely
flag football.
You could compete in the Pro Bowl skills games.
I don't want to show off. I mean, you can't just go out there and win. No one like that. That's a huge moment right here. If Porter, who looks like he's going into the locker room, isn't able to come back. He's been shadowing almost every great receiver this year for this Steelers defense. And when he came out, it really helped their football team because he held every receiver he went against to under 40 yards except for DK Metcalf. And he's been shadowing Diggs today.
Here's Warren, who's going to just take the touchback. By the way, CBS Premier Week is bringing back your favorite shows and some new ones starting right after Super Bowl 58. Okay, now the Steelers who haven't won a postseason game since 2016 at Kansas City. They're 0-4 sets.
No matter how the game starts, you're Mason Rudolph. You've won 3 games. You talked to Coach Tomlin. They're going with the hot hand, not Kenny Pickett. He's played that way. He's earned the right to be out here. And now you have a chance. 2 scores down on the road in the wild card.
That time, nowhere to go for Allen Robinson. Knocked down by Dorian Williams, who's going to get increased plays because of the injury earlier to Bernard. Loss of 2.
You called it. It's a great job by Williams to stay patient, eyes on the quarterback, and then when you hit it, you come right downhill and you fire.
And now Robinson's the latest one to be shaken up. The 10-year veteran who's picked up in a trade by way of the Rams.
And he's really helped them. I mean, in the resurgence here, the end of the year, he does a great job. Every team has a guy like that. Gabe Davis is that guy for the Bills in the run game. Gabe Davis got a game ball, and he never caught a pass because they've got to fit in and block outside linebackers, safeties, and they help so much as if they're a tight end. Oh, and you can see he hits his head right at the end of that. But that's what Allen Robinson does for this team. He blocks, he works the inside parts of the field. He does a lot of the dirty work that you don't see, but he's very instrumental in them being in phase on offense.
And he also is being directed toward the locker room. Porter just went in ahead of him.
Nobody goes downfield on this Buffalo team. The least attempts past 20 yards in the air, but it feels like right around that time where I think you got to take a shot, Jim.
Second and 11. Jump pass incomplete over the head of A.J. Klein, the Bills linebacker, and into an open area, falling harmlessly to the ground. But he got hit when he threw it by Epinesa.
Yeah, Ed Oliver creates the first pressure, makes Rudolph move from his spot, and then Epinesa comes in and disrupts the play right at the moment. Huge third down.
Third and 11. They give him time, but no one's there. Now he unleashes the pass, and it's caught. Wow, what a throw and catch. Pickens on the receiving end. In traffic.
This was all started with the offensive line, give them time, but even with someone bearing down, holding your back foot, as big a play, what a catch by Pickens. You see the out-of-this-world talent and ability. That is behind him and high. As Mason was getting pulled from behind, you'll see right there, he feels that. And that's the biggest play by far of the game for Pittsburgh. Had to have that right now, down 2 scores.
They got 19 out of it. And they get it back to Pickens. On the reverse. And a blocker out in front is center Mason Cole. And now they mix it up on the sideline with Dorian Williams of the Bills. And no damage done.
Great play call. They're trying to stop the run, overextend themselves, go back the other way. We got a game, Jim.
Yep, and we're through 3 quarters. The Steelers are driving. You're watching the NFL playoffs on CBS. We start the 4th quarter. The Steelers were down 21-0 in this game, Tony, and they're making a comeback. Driving down 14.
This is your chance right now. Mason Rudolph, you had an opportunity today. Change the fortunes of your future. This is the drive. Go down there and make it a 1-score game. Let's see what happens.
They got the ball at the Bills' 42-yard line. They run it with Warren to about the 37. Pick up a 5. What's it going to take for the Steelers here?
Well, I think you saw it right there. They got to be able to run the football. I mean, when you're down 2 scores and you got a whole quarter left, like, you don't change anything. You don't try and hurry up. But I think they're starting to believe that they can do this. It's almost like no one gave them really a chance. And right now it's like, uh-oh. And that makes it nervous if you're Buffalo, because we're supposed to win. We got off to the great start. But if it gets to a 1-score game, every throw, every single time guys holding that football, the fortunes are in your hands.
On 2nd and 5, here's Rudolph going to take off and pick up the first. Slides at the feet of A.J. Klein.
It's a great job by him sliding in the pocket and then getting out and getting the first down and protecting himself systematically. This is, remember what Pittsburgh is in one-score games.
9 times, 9 and 2 on the year.
That's how they win. It doesn't look great off a lot of the time, and all of a sudden they figure out a way to do what's needed. And Buffalo lost a bunch of early games when they had a one-score lead late in games.
Yeah, late in the year, though, they've been winning one-score games.
They've got that championship DNA. You can see that.
First down. And Rudolph completes it to Johnson. What a nice cut upfield. Another first down for the Steelers.
This is how you got to attack this Buffalo team. I talked about they don't give up a lot of throws downfield because they're protecting. You see the safeties deep. You can get them underneath. And then with players like Johnson and Pickens, you can all of a sudden get a 15-yard play pretty easily just by checking it down with their ability to burst and run after catch.
Well, one play you saw Rudolph see the middle of the field open, runs for the first down, then they throw it in the middle of the field. You got all backups in that linebacking core.
Yes.
Williams and Klein in for Bernard and Spector. And that's a 3-yard pickup by Harris. And for more on what's going on down there, here's Trace.
Jim, we've been talking about these Bills injuries. They're piling up. Teron Johnson, their cornerback, in the blue tent right now being evaluated for a head injury. And on the Pittsburgh sideline, Joey Porter Jr., we saw him go into the locker room. Allen Robinson, their wide receiver, go into the locker room. Both are being evaluated for concussions, and their return is questionable.
Thank you, Trace. 2nd and 7.
I'd rely on this O-line. It is the best O-line they've had in a number of years around here.
Looking for Warren, instead going to the end zone. And only a couple of snowballs worth of
I was saying
no flag.
Some Bills fan did not want that to be a touchdown. That's not okay. No,
that's not okay. No.
This was very close to having an opportunity. There's your shot attempt that doesn't come very often. I thought they'd have to hit 1 or 2 plays.
Look how open Deontay was.
Yep, you saw him right down the seam.
He had Cam Lewis on him. Lewis, who has come in for Taron Johnson, as Tracy just reported. 3rd and 7. And Johnson makes a little move near the sticks. They're going to give him the first. He's got the first. And again, he's working on Cam Lewis, 39.
You're exactly right. And without having these guys inside, I would continue to do that right now, Jim. Use the run after catch ability. Most quarterbacks want to throw it past the sticks. You have these guys here as A.J. Klein runs past the play. With backups inside at the linebacker position, they'll take angles that aren't always as good as the others, and you can make people miss. This is a great drive right now for Pittsburgh, but they've got to finish it off. And if you're Buffalo, you do not, as a fan, you do not want this getting in the end zone and getting this close.
They've already converted on a 3rd and 4 and a 3rd and 7 to keep this drive going. It's over 5 minutes long as they go with Najee. And Najee runs into 3 Bills, including Settle.
Yeah, and Settle's actually had a very productive game today. He's been involved in a lot of disruptive situations that don't necessarily finish with the tackle, but he's been very disruptive out there today. And he was the one high-fiving the fans going around the stadium. He was ready to go. You can always tell in these conditions.
12th play of this drive. As Tomlin's rallying back the Steelers, trying to get within a score. Across the middle, they got a touchdown. They worked on Lewis again.
You called it.
Yep, and Austin has the score for the Steelers. What a drive.
It is, and Lewis playing the nickel corner position on this play, which means that he's playing in a linebacker type position. 1, 2, 3, but you're going to work right inside here and he just floats back way too far, and Austin finds the soft spot and finishes a huge drive, making this a game for real now, Jim.
No kidding. Big PAT. Oswell hits it. That's a 6-minute drive, covering 75 yards. And Mason Rudolph and the Steelers have really bounced back from a bumpy beginning.
This is going to be an after the play penalty.
Alvin Austin celebrating that touchdown catch.
This might be on Dan Moore. Didn't you see right afterward it looked like he might have pushed the helmet of the Bills defender, the left tackle for the Steelers?
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness, number 65 of the kicking team. The extra point is good. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Rudolph with 2 touchdown passes. Here's the penalty. 24-17, fourth quarter. Well, things have changed ever since that blocked field goal when the Bills were trying to go up 24-7 late in the first half. It got blocked. Pittsburgh on a short field covered the 33 yards in a couple of plays with a touchdown throw to Deontay Johnson. And here in the second half, they got a Boswell field goal, and now another Rudolph touchdown pass. The latest one to Austin. Off the short field. Isabella, that 15-yard penalty didn't cost him all that much. He only got it to the 31-yard line. By the way, again, Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon concludes tonight on ESPN and ABC. Joe and Troy will have the Eagles and Bucks for you. Then this weekend, divisional playoffs presented by Intuit TurboTax. Kicks off on ESPN, ABC, and Fox. Sunday on NBC and CBS. We're going to have the fourth game of the weekend, 6:30 Eastern time, but our coverage begins Sunday at 6 Eastern with our buddies on the NFL Today. Suddenly, there is a lot of pressure inside this building. After a 21-0 lead, Allen going long, and they're going to draw an interference call. Miles Jack.
Well, he threw the ball away out of bounds, so there is an uncatchable aspect to this.
Kincaid was the target.
It's going to be very interesting what they call, because they're talking about it right now. He said it's, you could tell by one ref who was saying it was definitely uncatchable. Gene?
Yeah, Tony, I think it's a great point. And look, the closest official who's talking, he's looking at the players. This is where you need help, like from the back judge in the deep middle of the field. Someone that sees where that ball fell. To me, I agree with you. He throws that almost over the bench. That feels uncatchable to me.
Boy, it has the potential to be about a 23-yard penalty. If they call a pass interference, not holding. Now that's a difficult ball to catch right there.
You could have gotten that when you were younger. I mean, maybe
jumped up a little bit.
It's taken a long time.
Looking for a little assistance from New York, too.
100%.
Holding number 16.
That's why it's a penalty.
5-yard penalty, automatic.
So it's a 5-yard penalty instead of a 23-yard pass interference call.
Well, you really couldn't call pass interference because balls in the air, it would say uncatchable at that moment, but that doesn't really completely change it. But I was just thinking about the play call, right? Coming right out, putting the game in Josh Allen's hands. I love it. It's great. Get back to the ground.
There they go with Cook. And Cook spinning, picking up about 8.
This is why they can win the Super Bowl, though, Jim. Josh Allen's always had to come out and do it in years past, and he's done it so many times. But this year, watch this whole line just wash this thing down and displace this really great front that the Steelers have. But having someone else to take the pressure off and say, just give it to him. He can also do it. We don't just have to have Josh. It's a game changer for them.
2nd and 1. It's Cook again. Cook's got the first down. Cook now has 77 yards on 17 carries. Both of these teams made changes after the halfway point of the year at offensive coordinator, and everybody I loved here around here, the players I'm talking about, really appreciated and had a great friendship with Ken Dorsey. But Joe Brady's done a good job since he's come here.
And, you know, Ken did a great job, too, but it was just something needed to spark right there. And obviously someone's going to have to take the brunt when you're not winning as many games. But I think Joe has done an outstanding job. And he uses extra linemen as much as anybody, and they've used it on this drive, and that has helped a bunch.
And it's going to be a keep for Allen. And he's ridden down. Got a nice block from Ty Johnson. Walker was able to end it after 13 more. And Allen now has 72 yards on the ground.
Well, watch, they're going to wash this whole side down. And you can hand it or you can keep it, Josh. And this is where the Bills, in years past, Joe Brady continuing the trend. Good job making sure the ball was protected, but they ramp up Josh Allen's legs in the playoffs every year. Late in the year this year, they were in the playoffs. They did it again. Today, you see the same thing. Those are called design runs.
There's a pass to Diggs. With a block thrown over on that side by Sherfield. And most of the action that gone to Diggs today have been passes either at the line of scrimmage or even behind the line of scrimmage. That's his 7th reception.
Yes, and part of the reason why he hasn't taken off since Joe Brady got here is strictly because he has gotten the other team's best defender, always following him, and the quarterback knows they also put a safety over the top of him. And right now you see Mason Rudolph getting off to a rough start, really coming on late. Josh has played a great game, but these games come down to one score so many times. These are the drives that determine it, and he's great at it.
2nd and 5. Again, he's going to keep it, and he gets hit by Jack. Now he was a runner.
That
here.
should be a penalty.
And there is a flag.
I don't think the defense committed until he was down, and that's why they're going to call it. Gene?
I totally agree with you, Tony. Josh Allen makes the slide. You can see he's well down, and now you make a defensive commitment, as you said, to make contact. That's roughing, in my opinion. That's a late hit.
It's Jack who got called for holding to begin this series.
Foul, number 16, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
I really believe there's something to like how it looks sometimes too, Jim, you know, where it's like sometimes you get lucky and it's a glancing blow that doesn't really hit him, even though the intent might have been the same. And so if it ever gets to that point where you see it and it looks egregious in some capacity, that's going to be called.
We've been talking about the Bills' injuries at linebacker. The Steelers have had injuries in that position group all season themselves. And Jack's seeing a lot of time here tonight. Played sparingly during the year. Here's Cook with Golden on his back. Pick up of a yard.
And look at how they've done in this drive. Obviously 2 big penalties, but to me, in years past, we'd say, all right, let's make sure we win, or it's a close game or something. Josh, we're going to throw the ball at least 2 out of every 3, you know, plays to make sure that he has the ball in his hands. And in this drive, it's been the legs of him and Cook over and over again.
Buffalo's rushed for 155 yards. Precisely what they averaged the second half of the season that led the league in rushing. 2nd and 9. Across the middle, Sherfield was knocked out. Shakir knocked down inside the 10. Oh, what an effort! The play of the night! Khalil Shakir broke away from, of all people, Minka Fitzpatrick.
I can't believe it. You said it too. I stopped looking. I turned back over to look over at the crowd. And all of a sudden you're like, and still going. What an individual effort.
The teammates appreciate the effort so much they're about to carry him off on their shoulders. This is remarkable.
This really is. And this is what happens when you run the ball.
And then after he was able to get away from Fitzpatrick, just look how close the knee was. It never did touch.
And he's got juice. Second fastest 40 time. Doesn't show it a ton, but he's been playing outstanding. He's come on the last month and a half. They found another guy to complement Diggs and Gabe Davis.
Pass. Extra point. Oh, somehow the wind pushed it back in play. That was a wobbler. But it was good.
All set up by running the football, getting an easy look. 5-man pressure to stop the run.
You're watching Super Wildcard Weekend, presented by Verizon. Well, the Bills have 4 touchdowns by 4 different players, but Josh Allen connected to all 4 of those touchdowns. He's thrown for 3, ran for 1. You pointed out that Shakir's play came at such a crucial time that maybe nudges out the Josh Allen 52-yard run as the best play of the night.
I was thinking but that one right there might have actually got it because it was at such a huge moment in the game. So I'm going with your call. That was the tough one.
Steelers tackling tonight hasn't been their best. This weekend, college hoops on CBS begins Saturday at 12:30 Eastern inside college basketball. Then at San Diego State, Boise State. Sunday, a Big Ten battle. Michigan State and Maryland. It's coming up on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Well, the Steeler and Bills fans getting along. Good to see. This is the 4th time they've ever met in the playoffs. Other 3 times were all in the divisional round, and the winner went on to win the went on to play in the Super Bowl. First, the Bills trying to get their first ever Super Bowl championship, while the Steelers have 6 in their organization's history.
I'm so impressed by Josh Allen's play today. He has literally played exactly how you want. He's done the big splashy plays, but he's protected the ball. Almost no chances for an interception at any point.
Klein brings down Freiermuth. You got a lot of backups on that defense. Klein,
yep.
Elam, who hasn't played a lot this year, Lewis, Dorian Williams, and now Freiermuth, the latest to get nicked.
And that's big too, because you keep talking about it. Where you work is that middle of the field. You're able to move them off their spots, these linebackers. And
oh, timeout called by Pittsburgh. 5.5 to go.
That's a big one too when you're down 2 scores.
The State Farm post-game show comes up right after we finish here with JB and all the gang. Latest NFL news, highlights from this game coming up on the State Farm post-game show. Well, Kansas City, Houston, and Baltimore all watching and wondering, what will it look like? If it's a Bills victory, the Chiefs come here. And that would send Houston to Baltimore. Kansas City and the Bills have had some epic matchups since Mahomes and Allen came into the league.
Yeah, say the least.
Could be another one next week.
Mason Rudolph is trying to disrupt that, but he's going to have to do something special now.
3rd and 3. Got hit, somehow got the pass away. Nice tackle by Klein. How about Klein on the speedy Jalen Warren and wouldn't let him go.
Leonard Floyd putting the pressure on, but this is outstanding by Klein. It's supposed to be a pick. Everyone's supposed to go, and he comes all the way across underneath. And that could have been a huge play in man coverage.
4th down.
I think the game might come down to this. I'm saying this is their chance, Pittsburgh. And Buffalo's done everything else right. No, they're going to take another timeout, or is Buffalo?
Bills.
You don't mind that sometimes when you feel like the game, it's like one of those plays. You want to see what they come out in. And if you don't like what you called based on the formation of what they're in, don't run it. Take the timeout. You're ahead by 2 scores.
Well, Mason Rudolph, his journey to the playoffs, it's remarkable. Here he was a 3rd-round pick, but he spent a large part of his career being a 3rd-string quarterback. And he was a free agent at the end of last year. The amount of attention given him was sparse.
Yep.
Lukewarm interest. He thought about going into real estate with his father down in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but here he is in the postseason with a play he must have. Freiermuth is back out there, 4th and 3.
And he has played actually very well after the very beginning of this game.
Rose, incomplete. That was Jackson on the coverage of Pickens, and no flag.
I think Jackson got away with a little tug there. I think this one should have been called, actually. And Rudolph says the same thing to the ref as he's walking off. He threw a strike. But watch the right side of your screen. Jackson tugs him before then, I thought.
Gene, what did you see there?
You know what, guys? There is an arm around the waist, but it's got to be a significant turn before the ball gets there, in my opinion. He does have his arm around there, but I think the body's turned right when the ball gets there. I don't think it's big enough for pass interference, in my opinion.
So the Bills try to burn some clock, maybe even run it all the way to the end with 4:50 to go. And he'll pick up a couple yards with Johnson.
Well, like we talked about, watch right here. Jackson on Pickens. Right here, he grabs, and he's holding his waist. And you pull him back. That's why I thought the penalty should have been called.
Yeah, usually you get that hand.
I know
around.
Gino didn't see that view.
Yeah, that's a new look at it. That usually that arm around the waist is going to get called.
Especially when it's a slant route, which determines everything. And I'd be upset if I was a Pittsburgh fan. But
2nd and 7. Johnson again gets around Peterson and has a first down.
And how about when the game got close, the Bills decided to use the legs of their team. Cook and Allen's legs on the last drive, and doing it again here. And this is why we talked about when we did Philly, Chiefs, and Buffalo's going against them. We said they can win the Super Bowl. We really thought they could make the playoffs. I know that it looked bleak back then, but when I said I think they could win the division still, 6 weeks ago, that was why. Because they can run the football, and they hadn't been able to do that in years past.
No gain for Johnson.
Hey, give us one more second.
And we got a timeout here.
And Buffalo is hardened now, Jim. They've been playing playoff games for a long stretch, which means they really know what, the sequence is to win these football games. And I think that is shown every time the game got closer, they would extend it back to 14 or 21, 14. They just keep doing it over and over again. They're poised, it feels like.
Yes.
More than years past.
It's interesting if it ends up being Kansas City here, and it certainly is
looking
highly trending in that direction. How many times you've seen these pivotal matchups at Arrowhead and GEHA Field?
Oh, I know where you're going.
Now to see the game up here.
I think what you're trying to say is in the Patrick Mahomes era.
There's Johnson racing to the 9-yard line and another first down.
I think as fans out there, you're about to see Patrick Mahomes go on the road next week for the first time ever.
Yep.
Since he's been in the National Football League. He's played at neutral sites, obviously, in the Super Bowl, but he's always had a home game. And now Buffalo has home field advantage over them, and he has to come here. And boy, what a matchup. That'll be as big a game as any game this football season.
By the way, the temperature is supposed to be around 20 at kickoff next Sunday. Of course, that's a long way off.
A lot warmer then.
With a low of 8 for Kansas City after this weekend. That's going to feel balmy as Hayward wraps him up for a loss of a yard. Sean McDermott, I mentioned it briefly. Jimmy Laycock, the coach at William and Mary, is so influential in so many different coaches, including the 2 head coaches here. And Sean was a walk-on, later earned a scholarship, played in the secondary for Coach Laycock at William & Mary. But he was the son of a coach. Dad, who we had a chance to meet the other night, it's Dad Rich, who was a career coach in both high school and college. And learned so much of his appreciation and love for the game and teaching from his dad.
He was wonderful to talk to, wasn't he?
Oh my gosh.
You could tell he was a coach and a teacher.
2nd and goal, Johnson. As his dad said, talking about your players, they won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So
I've heard that one before, and it's so true. And that's what he tries to do with his team. And I'll tell you right now, the job he did, when everyone thought, we showed it, was 5% chance of getting, after the Eagles game, of them getting in the playoffs. And for them to put their head down and go to work and say, we can do this. And going into the last week before Jacksonville had lost, they had to win out to get in the playoffs, and who would have thought at that time you'd have had to win every game, basically. And boy, that takes a lot of mental fortitude, and he instilled that in his team, and he deserves a ton of kudos. He's an outstanding football coach, and the Buffalo Bills are lucky to have Sean McDermott.
It's 3rd and goal.
Alert!
Johnson skips to the outside, and he is stopped right there.
You know, we could say the same about Mike Tomlin. I mean, he never has a losing season. That's impossible. Longest tenured coach in the NFL, Jim?
Yes, with the parting of the ways between Coach Belichick and New England this week, you're looking at the guy that now takes on for the first time that position of most tenured. And what he did with this team this year?
Oh, that's Coach of the Year level stuff in the toughest division in ball.
2 minutes to go in Orchard Park, and the Bills look like they're on their way to the divisional round, coming back here next Sunday against Kansas City. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Subway. Subway's fresh sliced meats rise above the rest. Gonna have a field goal attempt coming out of the 2-minute warning. Bass with just a little chip shot, trying to put them up 3 scores. And the Steelers out of timeouts. Just 27 yards. Oh my goodness. No good.
You just said off air a second ago that it's been a little shaky. You know, his last kick, we know the one that got blocked and then the one that he made, and right here, he had a little duck hook on that one. And I'll tell you,
looks like one of my tee shots right here.
I thought he had a little bit of that on the long one where it got blocked, where he hit it low and it was going to drive. But Jay said it sticks in your head when something like that happens.
Got the State Farm post-game show coming up. JB, Phil, Nate, and Boomer. Coach Cowher. All the latest news and highlights from today's game coming up on the State Farm post-game show. You know, I saw them last week on the last NFL Today of the regular season make their Super Bowl picks. That pass is complete. Coach Cowher picked up Buffalo and Detroit. Only one that picked Detroit. Love that pick.
Yeah, that was surprising because I was like, you know, this time of year, it still comes down to blocking and tackling. Big guys usually win. And
2nd and 5. They've got Harris written down by Poyer for first down and the clock running.
I was impressed with what Sean McVay did in their adjustments in the run game and some of the stuff.
But what Dan Campbell
did,
yes,
and turning that thing around is
Jared
amazing for that city and for that organization. It all started with hiring Dan Campbell.
Yeah, and the trade they made, and for Jared Goff to be able to have that moment last night, I tell you, it was special. It was very special. Tonight on CBS, Night of Mysteries. 3 hours of the hit drama NCIS. 3 hours of it. Tonight on CBS. 2nd and 10 with 1:13 to go.
Let's go, Bronco, Bronco.
It's Von Miller coming after him. Almost got to him. And you see 52 all the time. I mean, this is not A.J. Klein. I'm sure never expected to play this much today. But you got to give him a nod. He's come in, and he has been around the ball. He's made a lot of tackles.
He really has. We were talking about where to go, and he's not allowed it on multiple plays. And I think we thought he was going to retire. And having a guy you can call up at any moment who knows your system and bring him right back and be able to step in shows you his commitment to the game and his ability to come out there and help this football team.
3rd and 10. And that's a completion out to the 50-yard line to Freiermuth. Going to hurry to the line inside of a minute to go.
Hurry, hurry, son.
Spike. There's a lot of noise out there about Mike Tomlin and what is he going to do? What's his future look like? He's got just 1 year left on his contract. He's never had it extended inside of 2 years before. But I got the impression talking to him, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's just like Klein. They're both going to play for another decade and coach for another. Well, that is a football coach, and I'll tell you, you get into a room with him, you understand he is a leader of men who's been outstanding for so long. He wants to keep going. I know they're building something here. They had a great draft on defense. This game still isn't technically over if they could score.
Okay. Oh, boy, it bounces off that hit somehow and gets the incompletion out of it. If you say so. Von Miller with another pressure, but we've got a flag down.
Yeah, they hit him in the helmet.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 91. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
You can't hit. Watch right there, hit to the helmet.
I tell you, there was an earlier hit too that he broke away and got the pass away. But yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, not the head or neck area. Ed Oliver, maybe his best season as a pro, and he's been good for a long time. And they needed him to step up today, and boy, has he.
Back down, Harris.
You really can't do that now. You can't check that ball down here because it's going to take up way too much time. Throwaway or something on the sideline, get the ball out of bounds, or it's got to be a chunk play if you go inside, just to have a chance at the onside kick and a Hail Mary.
And a flag down as he searches for the sideline. Well, do you think you saw enough out of Rudolph to think that when they go into camp next year, you got Kenny Pickett, you had a first-round pick out of Kenny just a year ago. It's going to be interesting to see.
It'll be a competition. I think that's the biggest thing you'll see. And someone you hope as a coach, you know, as an organization, you just want to see someone separate. But
illegal substitution, number 19, offense, came off the bench, did not get inside the numbers as required. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, Mike Tomlin, he told us this season that this game kind of mirrors the way the season went. He told us it's not going to be without its bumps, its challenges, but we're not going to let noise define us. We're mentally hardened guys.
It's true. Can't play at Pittsburgh if you're not. And they just ran into a team who's playing outstanding football right now, and it's a tough challenge to go on the road. You know, you're the 7 seed going against a 2 for a reason.
Going to try for one in the end zone, and it's almost there. Incomplete.
That was the one that would have given him a chance. I thought they should have done that a little earlier when I talked about taking some shots. You do get some matchups outside where you can let these guys have an opportunity to create a big play and get these guys off you a little bit.
Buffalo's going to go into this game next week, and as always, the health of your team is going to be crucial, but you got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they like to work the middle of the field, and you got backups playing in the linebacker core for the Bills. You're going to have to see what Bernard's injury is and what that looks like. So It's going to be interesting.
Well, you talked about it. Having Klein be able to be there is huge. He's been in the system for a long time. He knows it well, and that should end the game right there.
Yeah, no more time as Poyer stays on top of him for an extra second. Time runs out. The Bills advance. They win in the wild card round for the 4th consecutive year.
And the winning continues. They've been playing in the playoffs. They've talked about it for over a month. And they keep stringing these together, and they are playing their best football here over the last few weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and now I thought Kansas City might be doing the same thing. We're going to get another possible historic matchup.
6 consecutive wins since the start of December for Buffalo. Josh Allen produces 277 yards, 74 of that on the ground, and 4 total touchdowns to lead the way and on to the divisional round and on to Tracy with Josh.
I got a big smile when Josh came over, understandably why. But, you know, Jim Nance and Tony Romo right now are debating which was the bigger play. Your 52-yard run to just get things going, or Shakir's touchdown to basically finish this off?
Shakir's, no doubt. The answer, you know, their offense was doing a good job of holding on to the ball. They scored there to bring it to 1 score. And he mans up right there and makes a heck of a play and gives us the spark that we needed at the end of the game.
Why did I know you were going to say that? Week 14, you guys were given a 5% chance to make the playoffs, and here you are onto the divisional round. Why is this team playing so great at this moment?
Well, we got a resilient group. The veteran leadership that we have, I really think it's unmatched in the league. Guys love each other. They care about each other. We come into work extremely happy each and every day. I don't know if you get that most places, so I just appreciate the guys. You know, talk about A.J. Klein coming off the street, basically, getting to play a lot. You know, TB goes down. I hope he's doing all right, but to come up and play like that, and you haven't practiced in God knows how long, it was impressive.
All right, well, up next, Kansas City. You guys have had epic battles, but this time it is going to be in your house amongst your fans. What is it going to take this time around?
It's going to take a team effort. You know, they're playing really good football right now. We know the type of team that they are, obviously the type of quarterback that they have in Pat over there. So we're going to need everybody in Bills Mafia to be here and support us. I'm just thanking God that, you know, we get another chance to play another game.
Appreciate it. Enjoy this one. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tracy. Go Bills.
There's a look now. Houston to Baltimore. Houston at Baltimore will be the first of the 4 divisional games on ESPN and ABC on Saturday in the Intuit TurboTax divisional playoffs. Kansas City and Buffalo will be the last of the 4. Sunday night will be here in prime time. We were there when they played December the 10th in Kansas City. The Bills won it 20-17. A largely defensive contest. It'll be remembered for that moment when Kadarius Toney lined up offsides before Kelsey's amazing pass. But it was a wild one. So was the divisional round a couple of years ago. We saw that too. We expecting nothing less than that come next week.
No question.
State Farm postgame shows coming up for Tony, Tracy, Jay, and Gene. Jim Nance saying so long from Orchard Park. Enjoyed it, partner.
Enjoyed it more, partner.
All right. JP in New York is coming up. After this, the Bills advance.